All right, let's welcome in our guest, my good friend, Chris Paul. Chris, what's good, man?
What's going on, Bubs?
It's good to see you. You guys started up today. How are you settling in Phoenix right now?
We got our first practice today. It's real different right now, Bubs. Different is a great way to describe it. Like, this is the first time I ever been in camp and I ain't played with nobody. You know what I'm saying? I haven't played like pickup or anything like that with anybody. It's crazy. One of my teammates, Tyshawn, who's a rookie, he's a guard. He's actually from Charlotte. He went to Creighton. We was out there playing, and usually you know somebody's tendencies, right? You know what I mean? Like, I had no clue. He hit me with like 2-3 step backs. I was like, okay, you like to go left. You like, and he was like, yeah, I play off my left hand a lot. So we sort of learning each other.
I feel like in some of the quotes I've seen from Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, there's a reverence that these younger guys in Phoenix have for you. And even Shea said something the other day about, you being sort of his brother for life or whatever. But there's a reverence now that you have with this younger generation.
First of all, I'm not old by no means. I don't.
You can't deny it, CP. You can't deny it.
At least I don't think so. But it's crazy. Like, I still talk to Shea about it every day, man. Like, that's my guy. But it's really been cool, like, being here, and we got such a great group of guys. And you know how far that goes. Like, that goes a long way. Like, it's one thing to be able to do what you love in the hoop, but to be around like people that you genuinely like and enjoy, like, that's the best part. Like, we got Etwan Moore here. You played with?
I played with him in Orlando and in New Orleans. One of the greatest dudes ever.
Oh man, like, having him on our team. Like, when I saw that signing, I was like, hell yeah. Like, somebody that I've never known. Like, the only conversation me and him have ever had, like, was playing against each other during a game. But somebody that I was excited as hell when I heard he was going to be my teammate, because of that respect factor. Same thing with Langston Galloway.
I feel like the one familiarity for you is Monty, of course.
Right.
And, you played for him in New Orleans. What were sort of the factors that made Phoenix specifically such an attractive trade destination for you?
Obviously, Book had a lot to do with it. You know what I mean? Book and the young pieces, obviously DeAndre Ayton. But then Mont, you know what I mean? Mont, we got this Jae Crowder caller. I'll tell you this, Bubs. I said I was never going to put myself out there like that again, like trying to recruit somebody to come to a team, right? Because I'll just tell you this story real quick. Right after I got traded to Houston, I was in LA, and Daryl Morey and Mike D'Antoni them told me that we had a meeting. The team had a meeting with Andre Iguodala, right? So I went to the meeting. It was at the Montage. I went to the meeting. Team sort of pitched Dre to come to Houston and all this. I won't say what was said in the meeting and all this, but I sort of had this feeling that Dre was going, like, leave Golden State. And he was a big piece of their team. Man, when he like went back and all this stuff, I was like, oh, I ain't doing this shit again, because I'm mad. Like, I'm mad. You know me, but I'm competitive. I'm mad. I was like, okay, I ain't doing this one. You know what I mean? But after getting to Phoenix, I talked to James Jones, and he said we might have a shot at Jae Crowder. So I called him. I called Jay, and another one of them guys, Buzz, like we were in college, I just respect him because he a dog. You know what I mean? He gonna guard. He don't care who it is. He don't care who the guy is. And remember I got into it with Duncan Robinson or whatever.
Oh yeah, we talked to Duncan about this.
Right. I know. I watched it. I saw what he said and all this. You know. But what happened was, I like got into him or something like that, and I hit the ball out, and I legitimately thought that the ball was out on him, right? And so I told the ref, off him, it's off him. He said something like, fuck out of here. Something, you know me, Buzz. That's all it takes for me. I was like, what? All right. So whatever happened, boom, throw it off, whatever. Ain't nobody say nothing to me, right? Like even the stuff that happened where the offensive foul, ain't nobody say nothing to me. Only person who said something to me was Jae Crowder. Jae Crowder was on the bench, and when we went to go take the ball out, he was like, "Yo, CP, what's up with that? What's up with that?" And I was like, he was talking, you know what I mean? So I respect that.
Did you have any follow up with Duncan after that?
No. But he can shoot the hell out of the ball. I'll tell you that.
He can.
He got a burner, but it's what it is.
I want to go back to Monty real quick. He said some things to the media this week just about your guys' relationship previously when you were in New Orleans and him kind of wanting to control everything and sort of be a general. You're a different player, not necessarily a different player, but you're a different leader now than you were in New Orleans or when I played with you. And we've talked about this some, away from cameras and not publicly, just in terms of your maturation as a leader. I feel like Monty in some ways learned a lot of lessons, and I got a chance to spend a year with him in Philly and got to pick his brain a ton. Yeah, it was amazing. And I got to pick his brain a ton. And it was just like, it's almost like you guys are sort of reconnecting at the perfect time where the personalities now are sort of the right fit and the right match.
It is, man. And it doesn't feel like it's been 10 years since I played for mine. But just like his attention to detail. And I don't even know if you remember, like when we played together with the Clippers, like every time a shot would go up, I yell like body, like to rebound. You know what I mean? Got that from mine. You know what I mean? Like the X's and O's aspect of it and the attention to detail. Like today was our first day of practice, but when we could do those things where we could just do individuals, like the ones, like just seeing him, talking about plays and the screening and all this stuff like that, the attention to like our defensive schemes. And me, like I'm like that too. And I don't know, Tommy, have you ever heard his story about JJ? All these times we didn't talk, I ain't never told anybody this story. I got 1,000 stories about how JJ was a jerk, first of all, from college.
Let's get him.
That's neither here nor there. We're going to talk about one of the best JJ moments that he probably doesn't even realize was our first season together. We was getting ready for the season, right? And this is back when our Clippers facility used to be like legit. We used to have these runs and we were like basically trying to get ready for that season of JJ's first season with us. And we used to have to run sixes. Remember that, Bub? Like we used to have to run sixes. Like that was almost like our conditioning test. I think we had to run 5, right?
We had to run 6. We had to run 6.
We had to run 6 sixes. So a 6 is down, back, down, back, down, back. And we had to do it in a certain amount of time and we had rest. And Rich, right? I remember Rich. Rich was like, hey, fellas, if we get this 5th one, in this amount of time, we ain't got to run the 6th one. Like, what most guys gonna do? All right, man, let's get this 5th one and the hell with this 6th one, right? So, boom, we did that 5th one and we was dead tired, right? Dead tired. And I remember Buzz, I remember JJ was like, all right, fellas, back on the line. He was like, no shortcuts. You know what I mean? Like out of all the stuff, like I could tell you about JJ and how he practiced and his routine. Like some people come in the gym and shoot for an hour, right? Maybe 2 hours. They might be in there 3 hours. But JJ might come in there and he's so precise. He gonna be like, I'm gonna shoot for 22 minutes and 30 seconds. But I learned from him in that it ain't no point in going to the gym and just getting up shots, right? Like if you watch JJ, he's gonna be efficient because every shot that he makes is gonna be like the game, So that's the way Monty prepares, right, as a coach.
I remember that story. I remember that actually very well. You guys, I'm not going to name names actually. Collectively as a team, we wanted to skip the 6-1. So this was a conditioning test. It was supposed to be a test. And by the way, the guards had to make it in 31 seconds, which is a very fast pace. And I think the rest was a minute. So your, recovery time was 1-to-2 ratio or whatever. So by the 4th or 5th one, you're pretty much gassed. And we finished the 6-1. We got it done. I will say something on the preparation. Like when I got to LA, being around you and Blake specifically, that was really the first time I was around guys that were sort of wired like me in terms of the preparation, in terms of like putting in the work on your own, where somebody's not making you do something. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I actually enjoy this a lot. And it's not to say I Rashard Lewis was like that too, I guess. But, to have somebody that was like my age, we were still in our 20s then. I don't know if you knew that, but we were still young when I got there. But, to be around that was such a big thing for me. The other thing too, Tommy, I would say this about Chris and D Book said this about to DeAndre Ayton as well. Chris demands excellence of you. You can't get away with shit. Like playing 4 years with Chris was fucking stressful, but it made me a better player.
Listen, that's because JJ shoots a lot of long twos. Oh my God, the worst shot in basketball. Like I don't even look because JJ knows. Like it's crazy, but since we played together, I don't think I've played on a team that has floppy.
No.
You would never think about this. Today was my first day at camp with the damn Phoenix Suns, and I was out there talking about you the whole damn time. I'm out there talking because we got a play that's like floppy, right? And we actually got a play where I hit DeAndre Ayton, and I went and got Book, right? I went to go screen for Book.
V2.
Oh, we got to play this like V2. But not even that, just like delay, right? Like delay, where you hit and go down, right? If I was to hit DJ and you was in the left corner and I come screen for you, what are you going to do every time, Bugs?
What am I going to do? I'm going to go get the ball. I'm going to go come off and shoot the ball.
No, you're not. No, you're not. If I come screen for you and you in the left corner and
I'm curling it and screening you.
Exactly. Every time, wasn't you?
Yeah, every time.
Every time JJ was going to do that. Because I was going to come back off and get it, and then it's a lob where JJ get an open three.
I missed the thing I missed the most about the Clipper days was the sort of the intuition, right? The things that were wink, wink, the things that we didn't have to say.
Right.
You and DJ had your things, and you and Blake had their things. Yeah.
How long do you think it took to develop that?
I think we had it by the end of the first season, to be honest with you. You guys had played together, though. I came, you guys had played together 2 previous years before I got there, and Jamal was there the year before.
Yeah, but also Doc came in. Like when Doc came in and you came, it gave us a whole different playbook. A lot of Doc's players are for shooters. Very
true. It's very true.
Like real.
As we found out from Paul George this week.
Oh my God. but it's unbelievable. Like we knew, like it was like clockwork. We could run V2. Like we were so efficient on offense. And like today, right, when we was going over our offense and stuff like that with the guys, and me and Book and DeAndre Ayton be talking and be like, okay, once we start scrimmaging, we'll find like little stuff that we know is, like coach.
How fun is that though? Like if there's something that I've missed a lot of things about the Clipper years, because those were 4 great years, but that's probably the thing that I missed the most, because it's something like it requires a level of basketball intellect. And I'm not sure how many guys we talk about this all the time. I watch basketball every night. Yes. I watch YouTube highlights almost every day. Like I watch basketball. I eat, sleep, drink basketball. I think about basketball all the time. And I don't know that the next. I'm not trying to be a curmudgeon here, but I don't know this next generation consumes basketball the way our generation consumes basketball. And the corporate knowledge that you carry over as you sort of build up together, like I haven't been able to replicate that. The only person I would say I've replicated that with is Joel and Ben to a degree, where it was just like, if you do this, I'm going to do this. We don't have to say it.
Right. Coach was putting in a play today, and he was like, son. He was like, that's kind of like JJ Redick and Embiid. You know what I mean? Like, you probably have no clue that people be talking about you at other practices. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, and I just think that team that we had, man, it was just, like, if you tried to double me in the ball screen, right, with Blake, you was dead meat, right? Okay, y'all come double me. I'm going to hit Blake, because Blake can either throw the lob or he can kick it or he'll dunk on you. You know what I mean? But there was, like you said, it was the intellect that we all had, and we sort of knew. Like, I mean, we would do shooting drills after practice, right? Best out of 5, whatever. All this, like, I know me. I can shoot like that, but I can't do what you do. I cannot run full speed. Just run full speed, catch it, and shoot it. And that's why even me, like, watching Book and seeing how effortless he shoots. You know what I mean? Like, on the step backs and all that. Like, you got to know what you're good at.
Chris, when we had Dame on the first episode of the new show, he was talking about you, and he was talking about your preparation, and I think the word he used was manipulate in a positive way, but how you basically are able to manipulate every situation in your favor. And he was saying, like, the second I learned that about you was when his game changed, and he was like, I wasn't able to take my game to the next level until I saw how, like, Chris operated. When do you think in your career you got to a place where you comfortably were like, I'm able to sort of do that on a regular basis?
Oh man, probably my, like, second or third year. I mean, I say that early because once I figured out that pick and roll, that ball screen, right? Like, that's most of the game, right? So once I figured that out, like, when I first came into the league when I was younger, I could shoot, but a lot of times as a younger player, especially back then, you're just nervous about shooting. Everybody went under my ball screens, right? So I just played fast. I played real fast. Like, I was a one-man fast break. So then when I got Tyson Chandler, and it was literally at practice, and once again, I don't feel like I'm that old by no means, but I literally just came up with, what do people call it now? They call it cut back, cross grain, or whatever, or something like that. I literally came up with that at practice.
Snake. We call it snake. Yeah.
Yeah, I came up with that at practice. Like, at practice, Tyson, right? Because everybody was always trying to go under my screens, and it was like, okay, Tyson, come set it. And then I cut back, and then it just forced the 2-on-1 every time, every single time. And then back then too, I used to really stop. I would stop and keep you behind me. And Tyson was rolling to the rim, and that was back before defenses had low man, right? Like, low man awareness. Didn't nobody have low man, so didn't nobody know how to stop us. So every time we was going down the lane, either I'm getting a little floater layup, Tyson getting a dunk, or D West getting 17 feet. So then the league evolves a little bit, and they start doing this low man defense. Okay, if you're going to do the low man, then that means that the corner guy is going to be open. And I noticed as I started getting a little older or whatnot, I started to get a mid-range, right? This is some point, I don't know. I don't even know what year I started really, like, sort of making that my shot. But yeah, it's actually easy. If you watch the game enough and play enough, like, it's all angles, how you set the screen.
I want to ask you about bigs and drop coverage. Before I do, though, in listening to you talk about pick and roll coverage, do you remember when we were first in the league? If you, like, we dealt with this in Orlando when we started going to that spread offense. There were still some teams that no matter where the 4-man was and who the 4-man was, they would take the roll with the 4-man as if it was like Charles Oakley and Patrick Ewing playing together, except we had Ryan Anderson and Rashard Lewis. So, like, we would play these teams. I remember we played Minnesota one year, and Kevin Love was taking the roll man, and Rashard was at the top of the key, like, shooting three. It didn't make any sense. The league has adjusted so much now, to the point now where, like, so now we see a lot of drop coverage where the low man has responsibility, but he's not necessarily committing all the way into the paint. So we asked Dame about drop coverage, and he's a fan of it because obviously he can just shoot his little pull-up three. What's going through your mind when you see that big all the way back, like Milwaukee does, like the Jazz do with Rudy Gobert?
First and foremost, you got to remember I'm a player too. I'm not a coach, so I don't want to do nothing. I'm on a new team. Don't have me.
You always try to get an edge, man. Just answer the question, bro.
No, I don't want to say nothing crazy. Then we play in the game, and they go back and be like, "Well, Chris said this." You know what I mean? So do you remember when we started doing drop coverage in LA?
Yes, I do.
You remember?
Yes.
Me and DJ still talk about this all the time.
Not a fan of it.
Me and DJ pissed. Me and DJ was pissed. I'll never forget it because me and DeAndre were number one in ball screen defense, right? Like we were number one in ball screen defense because I would get into the ball or whatnot, and DJ was quick enough to be up at the point of the screen, and so then we could steal the ball, right? If you try to throw it low, we steal it high or whatnot. Now I'll never forget that first practice when we put that defense in. We was on the far end of the court, and big fella was like, "See, what we doing? What we?" But it was, you know, it's a copycat league. It's a copycat league, and so, you know, I know statistics. The stats and all that says go to a drop coverage. You know me, Bubs. I always think everything depends on who you're playing against. You know, I don't think anything is cut and dry. Like you got to do it this time. When I see a guy in a drop coverage, it's like, okay, cool.
I was thinking about just now, Game 6 of the Western Conference semifinals. We're up, 19 against the Rockets. Josh Smith obviously hit some threes too. But Corey Brewer hit a couple corner threes because the low man was pulled over because we were still running sort of DJ up, corralling at the point of attack, and the low man pulled all the way over. Now, I'm not saying Corey Brewer is a bad basketball player. He's my coach with the Pelicans, all right? I love Corey. I played with Corey.
You say he's what?
No, I'm not saying he's a coach with us. He's our PD guy, one of our PD guys.
Who is?
Corey Brewers.
Did not know that.
Yes, he is.
Know that.
He took he's doing the Evan Turner thing, just straight from the bubble right into coaching. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyways, if Corey Brewer doesn't hit those threes and we advance to the Western Conference Finals and play the Warriors, do we change our entire pick and roll coverage the next year? I don't know that we do. But now it's so in vogue, like it's the way everybody wants to play. And obviously Milwaukee, and I said this during the playoffs, Milwaukee, they're the number one defense in the league 2 years in a row. They play a certain way the whole season. But to win in the playoffs, you have to be able to adjust a little bit. And I'm not knocking Bud because I think Bud's one of the best coaches in the league. I'm not knocking anybody on their team. But there has to be some level of flexibility, series to series, matchup to matchup, where you can go to different coverages.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, and it's crazy, like when we played against Portland last year and we had BK when I was in Oklahoma City. And I talked to Billy about it. We actually lost the game to Portland. Because we was in a drop coverage, right, with Dame. And Steph, Dame, all them like that shoot the lights out, like off the dribble like that. They love to see the drop coverage because if they handle good enough, they're not worried about the guy who's guarding them. You know, and Dame was like off. He was off most of the game. But I was still getting mad throughout the game. I was like, all right, now you just basically giving them a chance to line it up. What was the end of the game, that fourth quarter? He ran them off. Wham, wham. And then you're like, oh, we need to come up. But now, you know, like I said, I'm not a coach, but I definitely think you got to be a little bit flexible with that stuff because sometimes those are like routine shots, right?
Practice shots. Walking into a practice shot. You know, the guys sitting back there. And what's funny is because to me, I thought that the drop coverage was to give up like twos, right? Totally different if you're giving up threes, right? Don't you think, Bubs? So in theory, the coverage should be the guys into the ball into the ball. The big comes up to screen. He chases over. He gets a rear view contest. That's how we were taught 4 years ago in LA when we first went to this coverage and teams started first going to this coverage. The problem is when the defensive big doesn't come up with the screener, the screener and the ball handler can just sit there and wait, and the screener gets a free screen on the guy. So the sort of the theory of like chasing over, you're getting clipped almost every time. There's no second defender there, so it's easier to screen. Would you agree with me? And I guarded a little bit of point guards in Philly when we went to this coverage. I didn't do it last year, but I know you guard point guards still. Like to me, that's the biggest problem. So in theory, I get what they're saying. You're forcing over the top. You're chasing from behind. You're getting them inside the line. But if you're getting a free screen on a guy and you have a guy like Kyrie, Dame, Kemba, all these guys that can manipulate and shoot pull-up threes, it's a problem.
My thought also has always been, obviously you got to like protect the team and figure out what you're willing to give up. You can't take away everything, right? But what I always say in the ball screen, Bubs, is I always think about who the most dangerous guy, right? Who's the most dangerous of the two that's in the ball screen? You know what I mean? You got to have principles for sure, but when they get into like game time situations, like, I mean, I don't, like, you put Dame, if Dame got the ball and, I don't know, depending on who it is or whatnot, like, if Dame the most dangerous one, get it out of his hands. You know? Like, make somebody else beat you.
When money's tight, investing in yourself may not be top of mind, but mental health is a necessity, not a luxury. And guess what? Taking care of yourself doesn't have to break the bank. Investing in your mental health has long-term benefits, and with Talkspace, it can actually be affordable.
With Talkspace Online Therapy, connect with a licensed therapist for a fraction of the price of in-person therapy. Get matched with your perfect therapist from the comfort of your device and reach out 24/7 whenever something's on your mind.
Talkspace is on a mission to make therapy affordable and accessible for all, because we all need extra support to feel our best. Talkspace has thousands of licensed therapists trained in over 40 specialties, including anxiety, depression, relationships, and more. No matter what, Talkspace will find you the perfect therapist for your goals.
Talkspace is secure and private, using the latest encryption technology to store client information. And now, Talkspace covers 40 million people for online therapy through their insurance or employer.
Look, talking to friends is so different from talking to a licensed therapist who has the experience and knowledge to give practical guidance. Talkspace gives you the support you need at an affordable price. As a listener of this podcast, you get $100 off your first month on Talkspace. So, to match with your perfect therapist, go to Talkspace.com or download the app. Make sure to use the code JJ to get $100 off your first month and show your support for the show. That's JJ and Talkspace.com.
What do you think about the ways about defending Houston, both when you were there and then last year, like in the playoffs, in terms of like switching up strategies with the way they play or played?
Tell you straight up, when I was at Houston, our defense was so nice. You know what I mean? Especially that first year, because we still had Trevor Ariza and we had Luke. Let me tell you this about switching. Our team was so good in Houston when we went to switching, right? And Houston was really good this year when you talk about switching. And everybody always says, like, oh, they're too small, they're this and that. That may affect rebounding or something like that. But I think this past year, they were one of the top teams in post defense. And the reason is because when you're switching, you're on high alert that the guy in the post is probably in a mismatch, right? So if I got switched on anybody or whatnot, we had principles. So when you catch the ball in the post, it might be take one hit, take two hits, spin them. Now you locked up, right? You spin them baseline, they got nowhere to go. Now I'll tell you a quick story about the playoffs and why our season was so good in Houston. We played the entire season when I was in Houston one way, basically defensively, and it was basically to get ready for Golden State. Right? I know, me and Bubs, we done had this conversation before. We played the whole season learning how to switch screens and the ISO ball that everybody hated. We played that way because we knew we were going to have to do that in order to beat Golden State. Because just to connect you to the Clippers a little bit, with the Clippers, our offense was so potent. Like, we was just nice, like clicking. Who gave us problems, Bubs?
Teams that switched.
Golden State. We play Golden State.
We had like an 11-game losing streak at one point against them.
And let me tell you, like, I mean, of course somebody could say it was us. Like, it was us. You know what I mean? It was us. But what I'm saying is the reason they would give us issues is because our offense with the slip screen and going to get JJ and threes, every time we played against any other team, we killed them with that. But when we played against Golden State and they switched screens and did all this stuff, we couldn't run none of our stuff. Could we, Bugs? Like, we couldn't.
The continuity was gone. Yeah. So we ended up having a lot of possessions ended 5 or 6 seconds on the shot clock in isolation when we played the Warriors.
Doc would be like, move the ball. Why you ISO? Move the ball. And I'd be like, ain't nobody open. So boom.
Draymond has literally just switched 6 screens. Like, you know what I mean?
And Steph over here guarding DJ, you know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't got nothing, coach. And so fast forward to me being in Houston, never forget, we played Minnesota in the first round, right? And it got funny to our team. Our team would like be out there on the court, we'd be laughing because the other teams would be pissed. They would be pissed because they out there arguing. They're like, man, pass the ball. You ain't doing it. And we laughing like, yeah, because all that stuff y'all done ran 90% of the season, it's not working no more.
I don't want to bring up a sore subject, but how often do you think about that first year in Houston, the Western Conference Finals, going up 3-2, getting hurt in the last minute of that game? And I know you and I are both very young. We're young in life. We're young players, but we may not have that many chances left. Let's be honest. And that you know, it was as far as you got in your career. How often do you think of that?
Man, I think about it not as much probably as I used to, unless somebody bring it up or whatnot.
You're welcome.
But right. But you see, I think about it most, Bubs, when I think about like the strides that I've made. You know what I mean? As far as how good my body feels now or whatnot, and I just be like, man, you know what I mean? Like that was probably one of the hardest things to deal with. You know, especially at the time, because I mean, so much stuff changes when you lose like that, right? Like Trev, like TA, you know, that's my brother. Like, that's my dog. You know what I mean? Like, that next year, he wasn't with us. You know what I mean? Everybody, something changed. You know what I mean? For everybody's career. And I know that happens in sports or whatnot, but Tone, who's the head athletic trainer in Houston, after we lost that game 7, I asked him to keep the T-shirt and hat. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, we went up 3-2. Well, I don't know if I ever told you. We went up 3-2, so we went to Golden State. And remember, I couldn't play game 6. Like, I got nauseous on the court before the jump ball. Like, I seriously got nauseous, and Dean took me back to the bathroom because I had crazy anxiety. I never get that type of anxiety when I'm playing. But it's that control thing. Like, I was like, how am I going to be sitting out here and I can't affect this game? And when I was walking out of the locker room to come out on the court, I looked in that little room right there at Golden State. You know what I'm talking about? That was the old arena. But I seen this box or whatnot. And I said, Tom, what's that box? That's the T-shirts and hats that you get. You know, like West
Conference champions, yeah.
Right. So, you know, I was like, damn, I want to put that on. You know what I mean? So, man, we lost that game 6 because we had the lead in that one too, right? Lost that one. In game 7, we lost that one. I was in a dark place for a little while. Few weeks, I was in a dark place.
I haven't really thought about that, like the actual game 6 and game 7. How difficult that must have been on you. Now I know that in the moment, I remember thinking, "Man, Chris is pissed. I'm sure he's disappointed." I can remember when we lost game 7 in Houston in 2015, sitting next to you in the locker room, we're both crying, and you were saying stuff like, you know, all that work, all that sacrifice, eating right, we're doing extra. It's for one reason, right? It's to win. It's to win a championship. And in that moment for you in game 6 and 7, not having that control on the outcome and having to watch with no control. I like you saying that now to me. I'm understanding now. I'm understanding how hard that was.
I'm shaking right now just thinking about it. Like seriously, because you know, Bubs, you prepare like that too. Like I remember I did that podcast with you. I did the thing with you at the practice facility with the Clippers, and we sort of talked about that, like the preparation that goes into it. You know, so you start questioning everything. You know, you're like, man, what? Like I did this, and if you lose, okay, but not having an opportunity to affect it.
Not even being available to give your best. You know, so we're talking about this preparation, and you know, I mentioned that moment in 2015 where you're talking about all these things that we've done, right? But you actually made a shift a couple years ago. So it wasn't that you weren't doing things. It was maybe that you were doing things that maybe weren't the right thing for your body. So can you just talk about sort of the transition you made, both with diet and the specific sort of training that you do now that's different than you did for a large portion of your career?
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, you know, even when we used to be with the Clippers, we'd be in the training room or the locker room or, I don't know, in the weight room and stuff, and you hear that such and such may have gotten injured, right? And then, you know, if you're in the circles or whatever, somebody would be like, yeah, man, they don't really work out like that, you know, Bubs? And then you'd be like, you're like, oh, well, yeah, you sort of see how it can happen, right? If you're not, but you know, we didn't always did the work. That's the thing. Like, I lift damn near every day. I do this. I'm getting the tissue work. I'm eating right. So when that happened, I was really messed up, right? So then I started training with the guys down there in Miami, DVC, right? And you know, sometimes, you know, you just don't know what you don't know, and they have been unbelievable, like, and just teaching me like details, right? Details when it comes to training. Then obviously I went plant-based June 2019, and I done said this 1,000 times. I almost hate telling people. So y'all can edit this out if y'all want to too. Because it's like a cheat code, and I feel like great, but I mean, yeah, it's a lot of fun playing, knowing that your body will let you do what you want it to do, right? Like me, like I used to talk about, like, it's one thing to know how to manipulate the ball screen or to get your shot off or to go past the person or all this stuff like that. But like, everybody would, for the most part, the scouting report would be like, send him left, you know what I mean? Like, it's nice for somebody to say that now and for me to be gone, you know?
Do you guys think that's a thing that has just gotten better over time with the league? Because like between you and like what LeBron just does year in, year out, where it's, you know, the guy is, it's every year it just sort of gets more amazing, the level that he's playing at.
I think for me, and it's funny, like when you talk about Bron or see Bron, like I mean, obviously I don't listen to the talking heads or nothing like that, but they be like, oh, he's going to be this year. And I be like, y'all just some dummies. Y'all don't know. Y'all don't know. They be like, wow, he dunked. I be like, yeah, man, he's going to do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm not surprised by it because I know how he trains. I know his discipline. I know, you know what I mean? Like that, all that stuff y'all seeing, it ain't going away no time soon. But everybody can stop starting off the year like, is this the year he's going to such and such? Y'all got a long time before that, because once you find, you know, what works and what you know, and it's a discipline about it too. It's a competitiveness. All that goes into it. You know what I mean? It's like some vanity to it too. You know what I mean, Bugs? Like, listen, JJ is in his Pilates class every Tuesday and Thursday because JJ likes the way his abs. Right?
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
Right? Yes. You know, but there's once you find something, you know what I mean, that works, and you know that, you know, getting a little older or whatnot, it doesn't matter, then yeah, Bron ain't slowing down no time soon. So everybody be cool.
You bring up a great point, by the way, and for someone who's highly motivated, for someone who is disciplined, once you know and you have the right tools, you can do this a long time. You can do this a long time. You know, you can sort of defy the odds. And basically, you are sort of an anomaly. Now, there's been previous examples. You know, Nash made an all-star team in his year 37. Stockton played at a high level. But there's really not many smaller point guards that have played at an all NBA level into their mid to late 30s. You're doing something that's ahistorical.
Listen, Bubs, I'm gonna tell you, like, it feel like they're gonna have to edit out the whole show, but let me, you know, I got stories because I don't be believing this stuff, but I gotta tell you this other story right here, Bubs. I'm sorry, Tommy. Like, we're like really friends.
No, this is what we got to do. But one thing, Chris, we need more embarrassing stories about him at a certain point. So after you tell this one, you got to trade off one-on-one.
But me and JJ don't get a chance to, like, that's why, like, when they like, are you going, hell yeah, I'm going to do this anytime. I'll come once a week because I love to talk to him, right? And we just talk about everything. So I always want to show Sam Presti them in a great light because he's unbelievable. So I'm going to tell you this. I don't think it puts him in a bad light, but it's going to sort of describe who I am. Trade happens. I go to Oklahoma City, right? They all fly out to LA, right? Billy Donovan, Sam Presti, training staff, everybody flies out to LA. We meet at CAA. So sitting in there with him, with my brother and everybody. Well, you know, I'm a totally different person probably than I was in Houston because, like, I just got a whole different confidence about me because of my body, right? Like, so I know what I can do basketball-wise. Like, I know. Like, I used to move a little gingerly because I didn't want to get hurt. You know what I mean? Like, I literally used to go into games and, like, I always say a prayer before the games, and part of my prayer was like, please don't, not, you know what I mean? Please don't.
Not tonight.
Yeah, seriously. And so, like, the freedom to just play and move, right? Unbelievable feeling. So, obviously, I'm on my training thing. So, when the trade happened for me to go to OKC, I was at Peach Jam in Augusta. And when the trade happened, I was only mad because I knew the family wasn't going to be able to go and it was last minute. But I already knew I was a different person, right? So, my swag is up, right? All right, I'm going there. Cool. They fly out to meet with me. Sitting in the CAA office, they bring up a slideshow and all this stuff, right? You know the worst thing you can do with me, Bubs. What's the worst thing you can do with me?
There's a lot of worse things you can do with you.
Compare me to somebody else. Do not compare me.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Boom, up on the screen. This is what Jason Kidd did at the age of 35, 34. This is what Steve Nash did. This is what such and such did. So we would like you to play, you know, around like, let's play you around like 60 games, 50. I'm listening. I'm listening, but I'm sitting there boiling, right? I'm going to let y'all finish y'all presentation. Right. They finished their presentation. I said, listen, I know y'all don't know me well, and we got to get to know each other or whatnot. And I know what my past history might have said about this, this, and this, but I'm not sitting no games if I feel fine. I'm not going to do that because I know what it's like to be injured, right? And so when you can't play because you can't play, then to each his own. Look, I ain't gonna knock nobody for load management, all this different type stuff, you know, because my thing is, and you know, JP, I talked to JP last night. Peasy is my man all day long. But, you know, like those coaches or teams, they'd be like, he can only go about 32 minutes. He can only go about 35 minutes. So, you know me, I'd be like, okay, well, what I need to do to be able to go 48 minutes? That's the way my brain works. Like, what says that I can only go this amount of time?
The reality is, I think that the place you put your body in sets you up to have the season that you did. My question in regards to the season is, I know you have confidence, and people may not realize this about CP, Tommy. CP is actually one of the most optimistic people I've ever been around. He's able to paint any situation with a bright brush. It's remarkable. Everything becomes a positive. That's just the way his brain works.
If I can say it.
Yeah, but look, I know, like, you got traded last year. We had the same agency. Like, you got traded last year. You didn't know what was going to happen in OKC.
Right.
To go there, to be healthy. Let's take out the COVID and the break and all the bullshit. We're going to talk about that in a second. But to go there and get second team All NBA and lead that team to the 5th seed, nearly take out the Rockets in the first round, I would imagine that's probably at the highest level of expectation you could ever muster going back to last summer. I mean, that was unexpected across the board for the league. Now, maybe you thought that was all possible, but
yeah, but I'm like, I really am wired different. Like, as long as I'm on the court, you know what I mean? I don't care who it is. You know what I mean? I just don't care who it is. And once I got to OKC and I seen the guys, like, okay, Dennis, all right, he's a problem. Like, Dennis Schroeder is a problem. Shea was already nice, right? Then we had Gallo, who was just a consummate vet. Like, I'm serious. Like, everybody be like, oh, y'all didn't think y'all was going to do this, man. Yeah, we did. You know what I mean? Like, yes, we did. And that Houston series, you know, that whole, like, man, y'all took them. Man, nobody trying to hear that shit. Like, we
I knew that was going to piss him off. Right. Tommy, I knew that was going to piss him off.
Right. Like, it just, I don't know, man. It's a game, right? It's like, if you're going to play Connect 4, you're going to play whatever, you know what I mean? As long as you only got 5 guys on the court. You got 7, we might be in trouble, but like, we're going to figure it out. And I think that was the thing that hurt bad when we lost Game 7 against Houston, right? Because the guys on our team didn't expect to lose. Like, for real, I don't care, the rookies or anything like that. You know, everybody be like, oh, they're young. Who cares? That team, when I was in New Orleans, when we felt like we should have won a championship, that was 2008. That was my 3rd year in the league. Sometimes it's better to be young, so you ain't thinking about nothing else.
I think that team, the Oklahoma City team this past year, they reflected your personality in a way. I know that maybe sounds weird, but like, that team, more than any other team I've watched you on, allowed you to be you. Not just as a player, but the person you are, the leader you are. I think it was like the right mix of guys for you. Am I off on that? Does that make sense?
That makes sense, because we was just like, everybody was scrappy. Everybody played like with a chip on their shoulder. You know what I mean? And then we had a guy like Lou Dort. You know what I mean? Like, Lou, like, every day it'd be something. We'd be talking to him about something with defense, but he just played hard. And then, you know, if you got somebody that play hard, shoot the ball, Lou. Like, shoot the ball. And was it Game 7 when he went crazy?
Yeah. He like 32 or something like that in Game 7.
Did he? Well, all I remember was like Game 6 or Game 5 or 6 or something, and they was backing off of him and he wasn't shooting. And I was about to kill him. I was like, Lou, we're not going to find a better shot. And then if you got a guy like that who plays his heart out, right? He defends every single night. If we lose a game because he done missed like a bunch of open shots, I'm cool. I'm so cool off that, because Bubs know, like, you got a guy that lay it on the line like that. I shoot the ball, man.
Tommy, did you see there was a video, it was a montage video about a week ago of Chris and all the asshole stuff he does on the court? Did you see the video on Twitter? You didn't?
No, I wish I had seen it though.
I saw it, Bubs.
You saw it, okay. So you know what video? I'm talking about.
Some random Twitter video.
I had my friend do it. There is a little bit of a disconnect, I think, and this goes into all the shit you do off the court, but like the person you are off the court and the person you are on the court are two very different things. Now, you're competitive in your own life. You're competitive at everything. Right. Everything. I mean, I played fucking Blu-ray with you for 4 years. I know how competitive you are off the court. Hey, Chris always collects his checks. You will not
try to, at least.
Chris always gets his money. I'll tell you that right now. But like, is there a way for you to turn that off? Can you ever turn that off?
No, I can't. And I always say this is that I had a shoe that came out some years ago that was called Jekyll and Hyde, right? Like I'm alive, like I love people and all that. But when I'm on the court, like trying to win, I'm trying to win, you know what I mean? And I always say that, like my competitiveness could be like a strength, but to some people it might be like, why you don't like me? But I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. You ain't got to go home with me at night. But I don't know. I think about us and how we just could not stand each other when we was in college. You know what I mean? That's when JJ had the dark black hair. Like,
here we go.
It was like jailed up and all this.
It's called a Caesar cut. I had a Caesar cut.
What was the first time in college you guys met?
No, I watched JJ play at a tournament. He was playing in the Boo Williams tournament. He was playing AAU basketball, and I was a year younger than him. And everybody was like, "Man, y'all gotta see this dude, JJ Redick. You gotta see this." And JJ was playing on one of those other courts at Hampton.
I heard of Chris, and Chris was obviously a big deal in the 2003 high school class, and was coming into Wake. We played in Cameron the first time we played Wake Forest.
Was it?
Yes, the first time. It was a Saturday afternoon game. I had 23 points. Sean Dockery put the clamps on Chris.
Right now, though, do you have the stats in front of you? Why do you know how to do that?
The final score was 68-59.
Oh my.
No. So we play the game or whatever. No issues. I told this story on the podcast 4 years ago. We're telling it again.
You don't have to do
no
it.
issues. No, I got to do it. So no issues. So then we play
at Wake
like a month later.
On the left.
We're the number one team in the country. I make a cut through the middle, and I try to do the little trick where you like go underneath the guy's arm and act like you're getting held, and you flail your arms or whatever. And Chris gets right in my face. He's like, "That shit ain't working, motherfucker." All this stuff, like just
say that.
Cussing me out for no reason.
Mama and Daddy, I would never say anything. No such thing.
Anyways, so he gets right in my face, and this is right in front of the Wake Forest bench. So he's now they're all standing up and they're all chirping. And I didn't slap him, but I like took my hand and I put it in his face, and I was like, "Get the fuck out of my face," like that. So I get a technical. He goes for like 30. They whoop our ass. They storm the court, whatever. That summer, we worked the Jordan camp, and it was super awkward for a couple days. I'm not gonna lie.
I forgot about Jordan camp in Santa Barbara.
Yes, in Santa Barbara. And I went up to him in the dorms after one of the sessions one day, and I was just like, "Look, man, I got to be honest with you. Like, I actually respect you because you're such a competitor. I'm really sorry about whatever I did. Can we just move on?" The thing is, this guy fucking for 11 years didn't move on. He held it against me until we were teammates.
So listen, let me tell you what happened. JJ was this guy at Duke. JJ would run off 1,000 screens, and he'd make a three, and he running down court doing all this stuff. And Duke was the old smack the floor, rah, 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 all this. But it really got bad my sophomore year when we played at Duke, and JJ knows this story already. They started a kid, I think his name was Patrick Davidson. Is that his name?
Yeah, that was his name, Patrick Davidson.
Ridiculous that I still remember his name. They started a walk-on, right? And the kid just walked out on the court. Right? Duke is Mr. Prestigious School. They don't need any gimmicks. They got JJ Redick. They started a walk-on time. Did you hear what I said?
I heard.
They started a walk-on at Duke in this big game, right? The guy comes out there and he's like bumping into me. Every time we take the ball out, he's boom, getting into it. And I mean, I have come a long way. Back then, I was a real hothead, right? And he doing all this bumping into me. He started for like a minute and 30 seconds. They took him out the game, and the whole arena went crazy. And he ran off the court and hugged Coach K. Right? To the point where 2006, so that was my sophomore year. I went in and played my rookie year, and then that next summer, Coach K was the USA coach. And that wasn't even cool at first. Because we were fresh off that. It wasn't cool like that at first. But then a real funny story was JJ stayed in college. Do you remember this story when you was in Orlando?
I know. I think I know what story you're going to tell.
Listen. This was an asshole move on me, I would say. But I just got rookie of the year, right? I just got rookie of the year. JJ comes to the league for Orlando. He's sitting on the bench. And I go to the corner and I look back to him and I say, it's a whole lot different from college, ain't it? Because in college, man, in the NBA now, he was riding the bench.
Oh, man. You know, now that I think about it, first of all, I wasn't even in uniform when you did that. I was in a suit behind the bench. They wouldn't even let me wear a uniform the first 2 months.
Wait, Chris, what was your reaction when you heard the news he was coming to the Clippers? What was like the initial split reaction?
You ain't never heard this story, Tommy. I know exactly where I was. I was in the bathroom. This is when I had my house in Bel Air Crest. I was in the bathroom. I'm on the phone with Doc. Doc tells me that we got a chance to get JJ Redick, right? He called me to tell me that we got a chance to get JJ Redick. And I said, get him. Fast, quick, just like that. And I've always said this, is that JJ was one of the people I've hated playing against, but I knew, you know what I mean? Like Bub said, all I do is watch basketball.
Yeah.
So I know people's mentality. I know like who's a dog, who's a grunt. So I said, Doc, get him. So JJ gets traded to our team or whatnot. Then I don't know if it was a couple weeks later, me and my wife go to Houston so we can see Brandon Bass get married. Me and Brandon Bass got drafted together. All right. So we at the hotel or whatnot where the wedding's at, and we go down to like a restaurant or something. And then what happened? And then
I saw you walk by, and I was like, I texted you. I was like, yo, are you at Brandon's wedding?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah. So I was like, me and Chelsea are at the bar. Come have a glass of wine with us. So actually, I had never, away from basketball, I'd never spent any time with Chris.
Right.
So him and Jada came to the bar. We sat there for like an hour and a half, had a glass of wine, went to the wedding, and then when I first got to LA, like Chelsea and I, we didn't really know anybody or whatever. We didn't have kids then. We would go over to his house and watch Scandal every week. That's how I got to know Chris, watching Scandal in his theater room.
We watched Scandal, and then we went to dinner again, man. And it's been like this ever since.
Chris, we briefly talked about this earlier this summer while everything was happening, pre-bubble, post-bubble. You've had a lot. Look, I'm not taking away from anyone in this country right now. We've all had a lot on our plate, and you've had a lot on your plate this year. And you know, you've led our union through arguably one of the most challenging times we've had, both logistically. You know, the financial and business part of this has been really complicated in renegotiating the CBA. How exhausting has this been as you've juggled being an elite player, being a father, being a businessman, being an activist, and then having to lead our union on top of all that?
I mean, it's a lot, but it's so many different people that's involved every day that's doing the same, you know? And to tell you the truth, Michelle, like, has been unbelievable. Like, our executive committee, all the players, all the guys that, shoot, I just call to lean on or ask to get on this call, like Kyle Lowry and Dwight Powell, like people who I don't think really know that they're involved as much. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot, and not just on my plate, but like on all the players and everybody, like our families. You know, it's crazy, and that's why I'm even grateful, like, for our relationship. You know what I mean? Or just some of the guys that I have to talk to just to, you know, like, relax.
Yeah.
Like, trying to get some type of sense of normalcy. You know, that's why, like, I feel like every time me and you talk, Buzz, it'd be like a long conversation.
I know.
You might be like, I gotta go be with the family, and I'll be like, and we'd be like, whoo, it's like we just had like therapy.
I would describe it as that. I would actually describe it as that.
Yeah.
I think you told me like something like you actually didn't believe the bubble was going to happen until you actually got to the bubble and you were like in the bubble and you're like, oh, we actually pulled this fucking thing off.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I think I might have sent Adam a text, or he had texted me something like that before we got to the bubble. Like, all right, this is the day. Like, the team show up. You know, like you remember the first wave of teams went? It was like, that was a milestone, you know? And then it was like a milestone when we had like the first scrimmage game or the preseason games. It was crazy because even all the people that worked so hard, like Byron and Kelly Flateau, like people that work for the league, and all the different people with the union, you know, Ron, you know, Ron is a real unsung hero when it comes.
Unsung, yes.
Yeah,
Ron Kleppner, yes.
Everything, you know what I mean? But all the different people that make the stuff happen, right? So, like, I remember seeing the renderings of what the court would look like, right? With these, like, fake people, like, okay, this is where the guys will sit. There'll be a video board here. And, you know, I looked at it, I was like, dang, this is crazy. And I remember Dwight Powell is actually the one who came up with putting those extra chairs over there, because if we had like assigned seats, we needed other seats that guys could talk about game plan, right? So getting there to the bubble and then seeing it, right? And I remember seeing a couple people who I've been on like 40 Zooms with, right? But I'd never seen in person, you know? And it was like, oh my goodness, like, I feel like I know you. I do know you, but I don't know you. And so, yeah, man, it was surreal. And so while you're involved in that, you're still trying to be the best player that you can be, right? You got to be the best teammate. You got to invest real time. You know, even everything that's going on right now, there's calls that's going on every couple of days. And, you know, Carmen that works with me, who's my ace, you know, Carmen would be like, you got to do this today. I was like, not today. Not today. I got to be a teammate. You know what I mean?
Well, Chris, I was gonna ask you about this. So, one specific moment, you know, down there at the end of August when you guys stopped playing, and you did the call with, you know, President Obama, but there was like a 48-hour window, you know, where the games weren't happening. You know, like, from your focus level, you're as focused as it gets, like, in professional sports, in terms of locking in on the task at hand and everything like that. But all of a sudden, it's like the focus has been broken, and you literally have the whole world, outside press, everything coming down on you guys. How do you compartmentalize? Like, I'm still here to do a job, but like I also gotta like put out a fire here. You know what I mean? Like all over the place.
Yeah, I don't know. It's basically what you just said. You compartmentalize things. You know, like I mean, JJ like that too. You just get in the mode of like, this has to be done, right? This has to be done. And that's the thing about like having tough conversations, regardless of what it is. You got to talk about it. You got to talk about it. And I'm trying to think, Bubs, you wasn't in the bubble then, huh? No, because
we were out. We didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I really wish you was there, because you got to talk about it. And all the stuff that was going on, it's like you don't have time to not talk about it, right? Like you got to address it. You got to address it right then and there, and you got to be like, hey, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because y'all know our league. Shoot, y'all have so much to talk about at times because players just give it to you. You know what I mean? Like seriously, because social media, all this different type of stuff, and having that awareness, it was like, okay, we got to talk about this in here because once guys get to their rooms, telling what's going to be said, right? So if everybody can be comfortable about the decisions that are made in here, we need to come out of here with one voice.
One of the things about your position that I really don't envy, and I've never asked you this. I want to get a sense of how much thinking you have about the different tiers of players. You've been a max guy, right? I've been, for the most of my career, like a cap space guy. We got minimum guys. We got fringe guys. We got two-way guys. We got guys on rookie contracts. And somehow you, the executive committee, Michelle, Ron, you have to look out for everyone's interests. And I would imagine that's incredibly difficult. And at times, I'm sure you feel like you're getting pulled in a million different directions trying to please everybody.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I say this all the time. I don't know anybody's contract, right? Like I don't. And I always talk about you, Bubs, because you know everybody's. You know down to the cent how much somebody makes. You know if it's the team option or whatnot. Because you were the hoops hype connoisseur, right? Like I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how many years Book has left on his contract. I don't know. Like I don't know 8. I don't know how much anybody. Only person I think I know is
I think he's in year 2 of a 5-year max extension.
I don't know. The only person I know is Dario because I think he signed a 3 year.
He just signed a 3-year deal. Yeah,
3 year 27.
Yeah,
right. That's the only person I know. And for me, I think being on the executive committee has been the dopest thing ever because I've been on the like EC and the union for so long, right? So I remember when it was way different, right? When I was like the only max person. So we would be on calls and there was only one perspective, right? And so now like the way the league has changed, like back then it used to be email, right? But I remember some years ago, I was like, look, we got to stop this email stuff. Everybody's text, right? So everybody responds more in the text. We got a text thread of the EC, right? So if Michelle asks us a question, she asked something today or something like that, and guys can chime in or we get on a call. It's so dope to get all the different perspectives. And I know what I'm not good at, right? So, some stuff I speak on, be like, boom, boom, we can do this. And then some of them guys like Garrett Temple, Andre Iguodala, they be knowing the percentages and all this stuff like you. You know what I mean? So I think we all complement each other really well.
Well, we're very appreciative of. I speak for all the players. We're very appreciative of everything that the executive committee and everything that the union has done in making sure we get to play some games and hopefully, I know in the bubble being very safe and hopefully this season.
But listen, I will tell you this. One of the dopest text messages I think I've ever gotten, I actually got from Mason Plumlee. And, when I get a text from a guy or something like that, because I have to be very sort of accessible. You know what I mean? Like, rightfully so, because if I'm in the league and I got a question, I want to know something, then I would want to ask somebody who probably know too, right? So Mason Plumlee sent me a text, man, that was basically like, I think we was all going to have to vote on something. And he was like, look, man, I trust the executive committee on whatever, you guys decide because you guys are on these calls and putting in all the time. So I know that you guys wouldn't make a decision, that's not in the best interest of all us players. And I called him. I was lifting in the gym with my trainer and me and Donnie, and I stopped. I said, dang. I said, because it's crazy. I called him right away. I was like, look, man, we still gonna have a call where guys can vote. But I was like, I really appreciate that, and I'm sure the guys do too. Because the guys really put a lot of time into this.
At times, I would imagine it feels a little thankless. So I mean that. Thank you, man. Look, the current climate nowadays is making things even crazier than ever. Everything has been affected. Then on top of that, throw in a million pressing social issues and an expectation to be on 24/7. It's easy to get worn down. Sometimes you just need a moment to turn off and hit reset. That's when you reach for Coors Light. It's made to chill.
Yep. When you crack open an ice-cold Coors Light, things just seem to be a little bit better. It's mountain cold refreshment that's cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged. It's as crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies, and it's the perfect beer to help you unwind after 2 days.
It is a great beer. You know what I've realized, by the way? Coors Light is absolutely my favorite beer to drink on the golf course because I've realized it just hydrates you while you drink it. It's so chill. You go out on the golf course, it's super hot. You just want something ice cold. Coors Light every time on the golf course.
You could drink a bunch of them.
And you could drink it. Yeah, you could drink a bunch of them. It's enjoyable. No matter where the day takes you, Coors Light will always be there to help you hit that reset button. So go grab a Coors Light or have it delivered straight to your door at get.coorslight.com. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Imagine this. You make a list of the gifts you're going to buy for the holidays, and then someone randomly gives you the money to help buy one. Sound good? Well, that's what Honey is doing. They're helping pay for $1 million worth of gifts. You're probably wondering, is this the same Honey that automatically searches for promo codes online? Yes. Yes, it is. With Honey, you can also make a list of all of the holiday gifts you want from certain stores, and Honey will email you when the price drops on anything on your list. Just add Honey to your computer, create a free account, and throw some holiday gifts on your drop list for a chance to win. Honey will randomly select winners and give them the money to help buy something on their list. I can tell you right now, the 2 gifts that I have on my drop list are a 12-pack of Coors Light and a Hello Tushy bidet.
What are you getting me for Christmas?
What am I getting you?
Yeah.
I thought this whole thing was a little one-sided. I thought you were getting me something.
I have plenty of gifts coming to you, but you're going to see.
Okay. Probably a good bottle of wine. I know I hooked you up before.
Okay.
No purchase necessary. You need a PayPal account to redeem the prize. Only valid in the U.S. Giveaway ends 12/21/2020. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/JJ. That's joinhoney.com/JJ. We are going to get to the draft. Tommy, please explain the draft topic and explain the format to Chris, please.
So, Chris, in honor of JJ's mustache, which I'm curious your thoughts on, in honor of both of your mustaches, we are drafting best mustaches from any film or TV ever.
JJ's is a little creepy over there, though.
I think so, too. That's one word to describe it, but it would be accurate.
Not gonna say it. I know the word.
Yeah, and anything from any movie, TV show, anything ever.
Any movie, any TV show. All right. I started off?
Yeah.
You start. You get number 1 pick.
Number 1 pick, I'm going to go with Cliff Paul.
Dang it.
All right. I'm going with Cliff. Absolutely.
We both wanted it. We both wanted it.
Oh, man. I wanted to draft Cliff Paul at some point.
Absolutely.
Just so you know, you're the second person in the Old Men and the Three draft history who has drafted a version of themselves. For one draft, we drafted the best athletes ever to wear number 4, and I drafted myself at Duke. Just the Duke version of me.
Duke version.
See, but objectively, I think Cliff Paul is a great pick and makes sense because it's different. I think picking yourself from college does not count.
All right.
And is a shady pick. Cliff Paul is a strong one.
The Duke version of JJ is legendary. Number 4 version.
Yes. All right, Tommy, go ahead.
Borat, number 1. Easy.
Okay, I don't know about number 1, but okay.
Easy.
It's a good first round pick.
It's an easy first round pick.
All right. I'm going to go with Bill the Butcher Cutting from Gangs of New York. Daniel Day-Lewis's character from Gangs of New York. That's an all-time stash. And then I'm gonna lock up. Richard Pryor has an all-time mustache.
Man,
I'm picking Montgomery Brewster from Brewster's Millions.
That's sweet.
2 solid choices.
I like Bill the Butcher. Bill the Butcher is that character is unbelievable.
All right, Tommy, you're up.
I'm going another Daniel Day-Lewis. I'm going Daniel Plainview. There Will Be Blood. I thought those two were a little interchangeable, but I prefer Daniel, especially in the second round.
So here's the thing I would say to that. It's pretty obvious that you're saying that because you ended up with Daniel Plainview. Bill the Butcher clearly has a better mustache. He's a better character. It's a better mustache.
That may be obvious to you. I mean,
okay. All right.
I'm saying, Chris, have you seen either of these movies?
Negative.
Okay, so Gangs of New York and There Will Be Blood, two Daniel Day-Lewis movies in the mid-2000s. There Will Be Blood was actually a much better reviewed, objectively better movie. And so my character is from the better movie. I would say it makes it a better pick, but that's just me. Same actor, same mustache, same everything.
All right, Chris, you got two picks.
I'm going to go with Danny Glover. I'm going to go with Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon.
Strong.
And then I got to say Eddie Murphy. I feel like Eddie Murphy then had a few good ones. I got a movie I probably ain't.
He's got a bunch.
He got a bunch of them. He got a crazy mustache in Dreamgirls. Yeah.
In what movie?
In Dreamgirls.
Oh, shit.
He had a crazy mustache in that.
All right, we'll put that down. Eddie Murphy, Dreamgirls.
I think just that works, and Eddie Murphy overall always has it. So that works. All right, I'm going third. I'm going Ron Burgundy, Anchorman.
Obvious choice there.
Third round, man.
I know. Surprised it lasted that long.
I'm about to run it up on you, JJ.
Okay, we'll see. All right. I'm going with... Man, there's so many good ones. I don't even know where to go from here. I'm going to go with... I don't know the character's name, I'm going to be honest with you, but Brad Pitt from Inglourious Bastards. And then I'm going to also pick probably the greatest mustache in cinema history, but I knew it was going to last this long. I'm going to pick the stranger in The Big Lebowski, Sam Elliott in The Big Lebowski, the guy who talks, narrates the movie at the end.
I don't think that could have picked. It's a very small character. Like, you clearly Googled best mustaches in movies before the draft, and that was the first image that came up. He's like barely in the movie.
As someone who's seen all of the Coen brothers movies, I think there's a lot of stands for this mustache.
Also,
there's a lot of stands.
Chris, I don't know what
mustache.
you think, but I think if you can't even name the character,
it's the stranger.
No, his name's Aldo. No, in Inglourious Bastards, Aldo Rain is the name. If you can't even name the character, I mean, we'll count it, but I
haven't seen the movie in a while.
Okay.
You haven't or you have?
No, I haven't.
All right.
All right.
Fourth?
You're fourth.
You guys ever see Dodgeball?
White Goodman.
Oh my gosh.
White Goodman, Ben Stiller character.
That's what I was going to say. You can't say that. that was
I'm taking it.
That's a classic.
Tommy, I got to be honest with you. You've had a good draft so far. Don't overthink this in the fifth round.
I'm ready, man. I'm winning this time.
Who is it on? It's on me?
Yeah, you got two to close it out.
Two to close it out.
Oh, the Dreamgirls Eddie Murphy mustache is amazing. I'm looking at it right now.
Right?
Yeah.
What about Billy D. Williams from The Empire Strikes Back?
That's a good one.
Right.
Very solid.
And then the last one is Napoleon Dynamite.
Which character?
Oh,
like
the guy with the glasses.
Yes, with the glasses.
Yes. There's a meme of him or a gif of him. Yeah, there's yes.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yes.
That guy.
That's a great fifth round pick.
Yeah.
That could have gone earlier for sure.
Okay.
All right, I'm closing it.
Yeah.
I'm going Flanders from The Simpsons.
There's a potential fifth round pick for me as well. Good pick, Tommy. That's the best draft you've had in like 10 episodes. Honestly, there's a decent chance you won this draft.
Chris brings it out of me. This just demands excellence. I can't tank this with him here.
Oh man,
right. I feel like I have to pick. So I picked 4 movies. I feel like I have to pick. I'm gonna go Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec.
Not bad.
It's a great mustache.
Solid.
Not bad.
I think it's a pretty good draft all around.
Yeah, it's a great.
The other Eddie Murphy one we could have picked was Coming to America.
Coming to America.
But I actually think the Dreamgirls one, the actual stash is better.
I think Cliff Paul and Richard Pryor were pretty good. But I really like Ben Stiller in Dodgeball.
I know. I fucked up. I should have drafted. I should have picked him with either my third or fourth pick. Fuck. I blew that draft on that pick alone.
Oh, that's a tough draft, too.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Chris, CP, I appreciate the time, man. Thanks for chatting.
Always.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
All right. Love you, bro.
I love you too, man. Later.
All right.